Hi guys, you are welcome once again to Learning with Prepclass. I am Tutor Chima and I'm going to be anchoring today's section. Today we are going to be looking at past questions on Biology 2019 Jamb, and we'll be solving questions 11 to 15, yes, because in our previous video we solved questions 6 to 10. So today we are going to continue the section by solving questions 11 to 15. Now before we proceed, students, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos, and put on the notification bell so that you will be the first to be notified whenever we have a content like this on our channel. Now you can try as much as possible to drop 1 or 2 questions on our comment section box. This helps for effective learning. Just feel free to drop 1 or 2 questions, maybe on any area you need me to explain more. You can do that. Okay, so you can be kind enough to share our videos so that it will reach as much views as what's possible. Alright guys, without wasting your time, let us go straight to today's business, which is to solve past questions on Biology Jamb 2019. 11 says, the function of maxillipeds in crayfish is to aid. The function of the maxillipeds in crayfish is to aid. Is it walking? Is it swimming? Is it feeding? Is it respiration? Now, though this might not be necessarily, I think this should be pro, but it looks just crayfish, but they are of the same family, look similarly alike, and they have same structures. Now they're asking us the function of the maxillipeds. The maxillipeds are this set of legs, set of I think they are about 8 or so. This front set that is close to the mouth. So of the 8 pairs of appendages on the cephalothorax, okay, there are 8 totally. This is the cephalothorax. This is the cephalothorax. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have the maxillipeds 7, 8. Yeah, that should be. So of the 8 pairs of appendages on the cephalothorax, remember appendages can be walking legs or out of the mouth part also. Of the 8 set of pairs of appendages on the cephalothorax, the first 3 are maxillipeds, which hold food during eating. So what role do you think the maxillipeds will play in the crayfishes? They play a role in feeding, because they say that the maxillipeds does what? That the first 3 are the maxillipeds, and their function is to what? Hold food during eating. So since the maxillipeds helps to hold food, because you can see that it's closer to the mouth, so since they help to hold food during eating, they play a role in feeding. They play a role in what? Feeding. 12. The respiratory organ in the land snail is the respiratory organ in the land snail is the, is it the radula? Is it the mantle? Is it the tentacle? Is it the foot? Now look at a land snail. You can see the leveling. This is the shell, the oil, this is the foot, this is the head, these are the eye knobs, this one here are the tentacles, but this one on top of the tentacles are the eye knobs. This is the mouth, lower tentacles, head. This is the mantle cavity. That's opening directly under the shell is the mantle cavity. In that mantle cavity area, we have a small opening called the pneumostome. The pneumostome, where air enters through. And they are asking us the respiratory organ. If they ask you what's the respiratory organ for man, you know it's not nose. Because if you look here, this pneumostome is an opening just like our nostrils where air enters. But our respiratory organ is our lungs, because that is where gaseous exchange takes place. Land snail have lungs. Water snail have gills. So land snail respirate by lungs. So each of these options here, we don't have lungs. You can't just say mantle cavity, because that mantle cavity is not the surface where that gaseous exchange takes place. Where the gaseous exchange takes place is the lungs. So most land snails have a mantle cavity with which there is a lung. So this mantle cavity, inside it is a lung. They breathe in and out through the pneumostome or the breathing pore. So this is the pneumostome or the breathing pore, just like their nose. Then this is the mantle cavity. Inside the mantle cavity we have the lungs. But the respiratory organ is the lung, because they say respiratory organ, where gaseous exchange takes place, that's the lung. So I didn't select any of the answers. What I just said is the answer is lung. Lung is the respiratory organ of the land snail. Use the figure below to answer questions 13 and 14. The structure labeled 4 is this is 4. Of course, this part, all these parts here is the digestive system, the intestine and everything is here. So they now label this place. That means there should be an opening where waste is being passed out. So that part label 4 should be an excretory pore or maybe anus or so. The structure level 4 is for feeding. No, feeding is the structure level 2. Attachment, this one has passed the stage of attaching on weeds. Excretion, of course, that should be where waste pass from. Level 4. Respiration, no, they respirate by gills. This is the gill. The structure level 3 is the gill, so they respirate through the gill. But since here is where the intestine is, there should be an opening here, which is the excretory pore or anal pore, where waste are being passed out. So the answer is excretion. So that the part level 4 is the excretory opening or anus. Therefore, it is for excretion. So the answer is what? Excretion. 14. As the tadpole develops, the structure level 5 grows longer. What is structure level 5? The tail. Does the tail grow? Does it grows longer? Becomes shorter? Becomes the hind legs? Remains unchanged? Okay. Now the structure level 5 is the tail. As the tadpole develops, the tail grows shorter. Now this tadpole lives in water. As it's metamorphosized, as metamorphosis takes place, legs will start coming out. Legs, after legs, hands will start coming out. Forelimbs, hind limbs comes out first, then forelimbs comes out next. As legs comes out first, then small hands start coming out. As the legs are growing, this tail will be getting shorter and shorter. Shorter and shorter, because then that tadpole is now transforming to a frog if it is from a frog, or to a toad if it is from a toad. It's now transforming to the adult stage. So the tendency is that it doesn't need this tail, because the function of this tail is to propel it in water. It aids swimming. So since the tadpole now is now transforming to an adult stage, either the toad or the frog, it will be moving on land, because toad and frog lives on land. They don't need this tail, but they're going to the water to reproduce. But it's on land that there is live, feed, and do everything. So as this tail grows shorter, the tadpole now metamorphosizes to a toad. So as the tadpole now grows or develops to a toad or frog, the tail must grow shorter. So the answer is the tail becomes shorter. B, the tail becomes shorter. 15. The key workers of fishes take part in, is it feeding, is it respiration, is it swimming, is it diffusion? Gill rakers. If you are a type that's like fish and you cook often, fresh fish, if you open, there's a part of that fish at the neck side. Those days my mom will open it. When you open that head, the head of the fish, that's on that side, you open it, you see this kind of thing. That's handle, that side that is covering this structure inside is called the gill cover or the operculum. So when you open the gill cover or the operculum, you see this structure. Then this structure is called the gill. So fish use this gill for gaseous exchange. They use it to take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. The gill has three parts, three very important parts. We have the gill filaments. This one that looks like comb. The gill filament. The gill filament is a site for what? Respiration. It's a site for gaseous exchange. It is full of blood capillaries. As water passes over the gills, oxygen in the water diffuses into the gill filament and carbon dioxide diffuses out into the water. It has the gill arch that separates the gill rakers from the gill filament, and it has the gill rakers. So this one at the back here are the gill rakers. this one between are the gill arch, and this one here are the gill filament. The function of these gill rakers is to prevent food from touching the gill filament, because fish breathe in by swallowing water. They don't use their nose for breathing in. No, the nose of fish or fishes is used for smell. Note that the nose of fishes is used for smell, to perceive smell, full of food or anything, but they use their mouth for breathing. If fish want to breathe, what does it do? It opens its mouth and swallow in water. So it gulps in water into the mouth, close the mouth. As it closes the mouth, it creates a kind of pressure in the buccal cavity, in the mouth cavity. That pressure causes the operculum here, the gill cover here, to open, so that water will flush over the gills. As water flushes over the gills, what happens? Oxygen diffuses into the gill filament, carbon dioxide diffuses out. But that water that is entering through the mouth can contain some debris, can contain some food particles, because that is how the fish also feed. So what happens, as water passes, before the water passes through the gills, this gill arch tends to hold those food particles and prevent that water to flush them over the gill filament. So that's the function of these gill rakers. They tend to hold those food particles. So as the water flushes over, ordinary water will now flush over the gill filament. Do you understand? And that food particles will now be channeled into the part of that buccal, into the pharynx. Yes, now we channel back into that pharynx, where it now enters into the gullet of the fish. So it plays role in feeding. That's the function of the gill rakers. It plays role in feeding. So the gill rakers help in strolling food and prevent food from entering the gill chamber. So it prevents food from entering this side and touching the gill filament, so that food will now be channeled into the gullet or the esophagus of the fish. So the answer is feeding. The gill rakers of the fishes take part in feeding. Alright guys, we've come to the end of today's session of learning with Prepclass, where we solve past questions on biology 2019 Jamb. We solved questions 11 to 15. Now if you look here, you will see a link. I urge you to copy and paste this link on your browser. When you do so, it's going to take you straight to our WhatsApp group. So in a nutshell, I'm asking you to join our WhatsApp group. When you join our WhatsApp group, you'll be getting updates and infos on the latest videos or contents we have on YouTube. Alright? So till you meet again, students, I remain Tutoshima. Bye, and do stay safe.